Hi, and welcome to this presentation on building community online. My name is Angie Coville, and I am the Intervention Coordinator with CAVA. Today's presentation is all about online community, what it is, why we need it, and strategies for building community. Online community has many different definitions depending on its context. For our purposes today, we're going to consider virtual learning as a virtual community of people who are brought together for a common purpose. And in this context, the purpose is learning. Bulletin boards, chat rooms, online classrooms, social networking sites are all different ways that you can build community. Most of the research on online communities refers to students in college or sometimes in high school. There's very little research out there about students in K-8 learning situations and how their communities are built. However, it is well known that there are certain characteristics that should be fostered and developed in order for students to be successful online learners. In the book Building Online Communities by Palloff and Pratt, they discuss those qualities that make a successful student in online education. Those students are generally open-minded about sharing, whether it's about their own personal life, what they're doing at school, what they're doing in their activities, and what kind of experiences they've had throughout the learning process. They're able to successfully communicate in writing. They are self-motivated and self-disciplined, and they're willing to speak up if something happens and they need your attention or they need to get support with something. These are qualities that we may not see in our K-8 students right away, but it is something that we can foster, and we should consider that when we are working with our students in building community. So why is it important to build community amongst our students? First of all, a student who comes to a Class Connect session every day, listening to the teacher, rarely participating, and not communicating with peers may not feel comfortable to participate in a class. Without that participation, it's hard to know what the student learned, what the student knows. So having that community built amongst your students and in your classroom helps them to create a level of comfort that they may not otherwise feel when joining a Class Connect session. They feel accepted by their peers and by their teacher for who they are and what they can bring to the conversation. It allows them opportunities to positively interact and to form relationships with their peers and with their teachers. Not just social relationships, but learning relationships as well. And it teaches them that it's okay to take risks because you've created a welcoming environment where everyone is welcome to join the conversation and whose opinions are valued. Whenever I think of community building, I am always brought back to that first day in leadership camp in 9th grade where I knew absolutely no one, and I showed up and we did these crazy icebreakers and we had to hold hands and write posters and do all of these activities, and by the end of the camp I went from knowing absolutely nobody to having a group of friends that, okay, I didn't keep in touch with, but I certainly felt more comfortable in participating in the activities. That's what we want for our students. We want the opportunity over the year to form relationships where they can feel comfortable in participating. So some great strategies and activities that will help you decide whether or not they are community building will show these strengths. They will promote some sort of ownership in the activity or the process. Students will have some sort of input. They can be part of the creative process. These activities will support students generating their own knowledge and coming forth with their own ideas. They'll help students establish an individual identity, encourage social interaction, letting those kids get into chat and talk to each other about things. And they're going to require participation. This is key. We don't want to give our students an excuse so that they don't have to participate. We want all of our students to be engaged and participating. Engagement is the key in community building. We really want all of our students to feel the need to participate and want to be part of the program. One goal to help with that is to aim for less than 20% of your class time to be teacher directed. That can look lots of different ways. You can turn the class around where you have other students as the teacher teaching the students. You can have your students grab the microphone or type into chat the steps that you take to solve a problem, have them walk through those steps. The retelling is a valuable educational step as well, but it also helps with community building and letting those students get out there and take risks. And have students answer the questions of other students. Have someone as your designated communications person for the day so that they can answer the questions that other kids may have. So here are a few strategies for community building. There's lots of different ways to build community, and these are some very general strategies that you can kind of take away and make your own. We want to provide opportunities for students to interact with you and with each other with as little stress as we possibly can. There will always be some of that anxiety in a situation where things are new, but we want to try to make it so that all students want to participate, and it'll give students a chance to get to know each other and to get to know you. Some ideas for doing this are holding class celebrations, having some morning meetings, where in your morning meeting students will have a chance to do silly icebreakers or play games, do something where they're encouraged to interact with each other, maybe have current events conversations or ideas on how they practice their math facts this week, just ways for them to interact. Icebreakers are one of those things that teachers either seem to just love or hate. I could go either way sometimes with icebreakers, but by the end of the activity, it's usually really fun, or it's something that we enjoy, and we get to interact and just be fun with each other. Group activities are another one that teachers, especially in virtual environments, tend to shy away from because it's hard. Group activities are difficult to facilitate, and I'll talk a little bit about how we can do that. But one idea is just to put kids in breakout rooms and let them create a slide on their own. It requires you to do some training with the students so that they know what your expectations, but once you put those expectations out there, you'd be surprised with what students can create together. And they really enjoy the opportunity to interact and to talk to each other in ways that maybe they wouldn't have had those opportunities before in a classroom. Another step for community building is to reward critical thinking and risk-taking. We really want students to get out there and give us their ideas and interact with us. And the more we reward those students who take those steps, the more other students may want to participate as well. And it'll make them feel safe in responding to your questions or in participating in a conversation and putting their own thoughts out there.